I hereby call the special meeting of the Cambria Community Services District Board of Directors to order. Would you please join me in citing the judgment? Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America,
and
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We have one item on the agenda, and this being a special meeting, the public comment will be on that item, and this is the space for it. There's no one, oh, wait. No one wishes to comment among our audience, yeah, okay. And Ms. Dodson, is there anybody online who wants to comment?
No.
And we have one written comment that's in the will be placed in the record. Won't be read, but there's one written comment on this issue. Move on to the hearings and appeals. I hereby open the public hearing to discuss and consider adoption of resolution 242204, ordering abatement of public nuisance for the fire hazard fuel reduction program. And Mr. McElhenney, you just describe this.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, President Gray. Agenda item 3A is a public hearing to discuss and consider adoption of resolution 24-2024, ordering abatement of the public nuisance, public nuisance for the fire hazard fuel reduction program. Fiscal impact is pretty much limited for the district because the district's contractor abatement charges and personnel time for inspections and billing, these costs are covered or recovered from the property owners by billing for reimbursement plus administrative fees. And the agenda is staff report is there as written. We have approximately 296 parcels that did not pass inspection. I do need to add one more parcel verbally, and I'll pull up that APN here in just a second.
Okay, that's very much. Any questions?
Yeah.
Director Dean.
Okay, just for clarification, I did notice walking around the neighborhood that there's a couple of parcels that have redebated since this list was made. So they're still obligated now since they missed the deadline for the administrative fee, aren't they?
Yes, Director Dean. The contractor which we have met with, they'll be released tomorrow, and they've been given instructions that if they come upon a parcel that is on the public nuisance list and they find that it has been weed abated post deadline, they won't do any further weed abatement, but they will be charged the administrative fee.
Okay, one more question, if it's okay.
Yes.
I've also seen some houses that have 3-foot tall grass right up around them, and including on lots that are merged with them. Is that the CCSD's responsibility, or is CAL FIRE?
That is a CAL FIRE responsibility through the LD 100 process. However, if it's made aware, we can have the fire chief go and make contact with the owner. And there is the administrative citation program in which we can identify it, speak to them, and give them a warning and start that process as well. So we can work that in tandem.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I think the best way to describe that is a CAL FIRE is still doing the inspections on those. But what's been added is that we do have an enforcement mechanism if the work doesn't get done.
Correct.
Right, yeah.
Right.
That's what's new. You said there was an additional APN you wanted to add.
Yes, APN number 022-093-056.
Okay.
And so we'll verbally adding that. I consulted with Mr. Carmel, and we can add that verbally, and we'll add that to the list.
Okay. Any further discussion?
Well,
yeah.
I just wanted to point out we often talk about the failure rate. When you look at 297 divided by 1890, less than 16%. This means that we have greater than an 84% success rate, vacant parcels that the owners have taken the responsibility to weed abate their lots. So that's the good news. And let's keep our eye on the good news. And again, the extensive communications by staff, the well-defined process. I think we're getting a fairly good result this year.
Thank you, Director Thomas. And this is an evolving process. I've spoken with Chief Berkey, and we're going to work on some new ordinances that will target conservation easements. So obviously our notice to destroy weeds is very black and white in terms of the type of weed abatement that has to occur. But it's not universal when we talk about preserves or conservation easements. And so some public might see a conservation easement that doesn't look like it's been weed abated, but it's held to a different standard that doesn't necessarily align with our notice to destroy weeds. So the fire chief has been in conversation with Pescadero, Paso Robles, and they have municipal ordinances specifically for different types of properties, preserves, and easements. So we're going to be working on that as well. Additionally, because of our weed abatement guidelines, of those 296, we should take into consideration that some of them might have failed for something that's not as egregious as just not weed abating whatsoever, but perhaps they left a down tree that doesn't meet the 12-inch round standard, and that needs to be weed abated. So it's not as massive of a threat as you might think, but there's larger fuel on the ground that it should be. So there's levels to the infractions or to the levels to which they fail. So not all of these 296 parcels, I imagine, are just hands thrown up in the air and saying, I'm not doing it. There just might have been some areas in which they missed.
Yeah. 13.
I'm hoping also that for next year, we can add to the guidelines of people having their lots weed abated, whether it be by private contractors or whatever, that all of that dry grass is removed from the road, because walking along, I've seen dry grass going out 2 or 3 feet away from the curb in big piles where cars can park on it and they keep from the car catching on fire.
Yeah, we're going to update our blast outs to be a little more detailed on the actual cleanup of debris. I also spoke with our contractor, and he's also aware when they go through and do their weed abatement process, they're going to be cleaning up behind themselves.
And I did compliment Paradise last year when I saw them actually clean it up off the road as they were doing the parcels. They
Yeah.
did a good job.
I just want to ask Mr. McElhaney, General Manager McElhaney. It seems as if we're having a greater sense of cooperation among the members of the community, whether they live here or not, with regard to weed abatement. I'm tending to think that that is perhaps, I know lately we have been criticized for patting each other on the back and that type of thing. But I believe that might have to do with the fact that the district, the fire department have taken a more aggressive stance with regard to getting weed abatement and being more vocal about it. And therefore the public has responded in kind. So that's my feeling.
Yeah, thank you, Director Farmer. Yeah, we looked at the way we were communicating before, and it was really minimal. It was letters sent.
Yeah.
And then there wasn't really much follow-up. And so after last year's debacle, we wanted to make sure that we got that out early with as many social media blasts as we could, the letters being sent out a little bit earlier. Also, the sticker shock of Paradise Tree Service coming in last year as an emergency contractor. They're significantly more expensive than some of our previous contractors, but their ability to weed abate in a short amount of time because of their staffing and their equipment is more sophisticated. They were more expensive, and I think those property owners that did get those bills do not want to see those bills again. And so I think there's a little more compliance there. So it's a double-edged sword there, but yeah, thank you.
Anymore. I got one quick question about if you're for people who are aware of lots or properties in their neighborhood or wherever, that that the fire department may have missed. In other words, if there's like a down tree or something that wasn't easy to see from the street and so forth, what do they do? Do they go to? Is there a way they can report those?
Absolutely, yeah. Contact. So on the website, there's an ability to contact the general manager, the fire chief.
Yeah,
They can label the address, APN, and we'll go out and take a look at it.
okay, thank you. If there's no other questions, I have one public comment, I guess, right? From Bruce Foster. Please go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to give some feedback on behalf of, I'm certain there are other people in my circumstance. I bought a couple of lots in Cambria. I don't know if you can see my face, but I've got a lot of gray hair now. When I bought the lots, I didn't 34 years ago, thinking that at some point the water problem would be solved in Cambria. and I'd be able to build on these lots. So for 34 years, I have been paying taxes on this every year, these two lots, and am anywhere near ever being able to build on this property. Now, it's just, and my property is off of Sheffield in the canyon. And now getting hit the last 3 years, every year with weed abatement is just, seems to me is just ridiculous for you all to have us do the weed abatement on lots that I will never be able to build on. For your fire protection, I got to tell you, it's just salt on a wound. For people like me that, look, I get it. You know, you guys, Cambria is a beautiful place, and it was carved up way too much when the city planners allowed the place to be carved up, but you haven't solved the water problem. I get it. You don't want the place to be built out, but now to be paying taxes all these years and now to get hit, you know, with weed abatement every single year on my two lots. It's just, I can't even tell you how aggravating that is to someone like me. So you think that all people that own these vacant lots are fine, just satisfied with your plan for weed abatement? You're wrong.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Foster. Any other comments?
No.
Can I follow up?
Yeah,
Just
Mr. McElhenney.
Thank you, President. We spoke about this a little bit last year, and Mr. Foster's complaints are not lost on the district. However, balancing those or any types of trade-off on public safety isn't an acceptable response for the CCSD. You know, it's a public safety issue. I understand those frustrations, but we can't allow to the public or to other structures override the frustration of the lot owners. And so while I understand those frustrations and we're working as a district to find sustainable water solutions, that is not the trade-off on public safety. And that's just the way it is.
Thank you.
So
Ms. Dodson, you have another speaker?
J Rare.
Jay Rare. Jay Rare, just one name. Please speak, please, you can, please, you can speak if you wish. I just have a single name for you, so, and I can't see you well on the screen. But please proceed if you have a comment. There was a hand up, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Mistake, okay. Anybody else?
No.
At this point, I'll close the public hearing and return this issue to the board for discussion and a motion. Anybody want to speak up? Director Dean.
I move that we adopt resolution 24-2024, ordering the abatement of public nuisance for the fire hazard fuel reduction program.
I have a second.
And do we need to state that we, with the addition of APN 022-093-056 to the,
Yes.
Mr. Carmel?
Yeah, it would help.
Okay.
okay, so then
You want to second it with that because you have it written down.
correct. I'll second with the addition of referencing the addition of APN 022-093-056 to the weed abatement list.
Zero. Okay, it's been moved and seconded. First of all, maker of the primary motion, is that change okay?
Yes, that change is fine.
It's been moved and seconded that we adopt resolution 2024, ordering abatement of public nuisance for the fire hazard fuel reduction program based on the list in our agenda packet plus the APN 022-093-056. Could I have roll call, please?
Director Dean.
Aye.
Director Thomas.
Aye.
Director Farmer.
Aye.
Vice President Scott.
Aye.
President Gray.
Aye. That concludes our business and our meeting for today. Thank you, everybody.